Lagrange. So we are very honored to collaborate with Uncork once again. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Celine, because we've been doing a few dinners already together in the past 6 months. And every time we are exploring different kind of wines, different kind of way of enjoying, let's say, alcohol, correct? Once we had cognac, armagnac. That was a very interesting one. And thank you to Sylvain. Let's give a big clap of hands. Sylvain Ménard from Chateau Lagrange, directly from Bordeaux.
Exactly, almost directly.
Almost directly.
Yeah, my first stop in Guangzhou, then on the weekend in Hong Kong for a wine dinner on Sunday. Then a stop here, and then Lou is bringing me in at the end of my trip in Singapore, and then back in Bordeaux for the weekend. So a 10-day trip.
So Canapés is our lifestyle management company. So we organize events which are basically targeted what people enjoy in life, and wine is one of those. Especially for me, being 14 years in Malaysia, I know there are quite a few things which we enjoy doing, and wine is what brings people together. And that's what we like. We like the harmony, we like the ambience, but particularly what we advocate is the education. It's the education on knowing exactly what you are drinking, why you are drinking, and how you are drinking it. So today, please take your time, ask as many questions as you can to Sylvain, because it is our luck and prestige and honor to have someone who can actually take you through the process of 7 different types of wines, different vintages, how the expression of a specific label changes and evolves throughout the year in the glass. I think that's the most important about education. How does the 2005, that you pay much more, compares to the 2019, which was only bottled 6 years ago? And how do you explain one being smooth, velvet, pleasant to drink, versus one which is a little bit more harsh, very tannic, and it needs a little bit more time to evolve, both in the glass and in the bottle. Okay? So, anything?
Thank you all for coming to the PRKL event again. Next month we'll be announcing another new thing coming up, like 3rd week of March.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know, and I hope you all will be joining us again too.
Yeah, I think I just want to say thank you to the media as well, coming here today,
yes.
Because yourself as a wine consumer are the best advocate. So you are the one going out and talking about your experience, correct? As we know, food and wine is very perceptive. Some of you will say, great, some of you will say, maybe I prefer this one or whatever. It's absolutely entirely up to your palate. But the media is the channel of communication, both for the experience, for the product, for how it was organized, and for everything else. Okay, so I really thank you for the opportunity to showcase the Chateau Lagrange to you. Lou, Celine, anything from your side?
Very quickly, this is a very rare opportunity for everyone here in this room to try a lineup like this. I'm not aware, I talked to Sylvain earlier, I'm not aware of anyone who's been able to see this lineup anywhere else in the world. So enjoy it, it's unique. Thank you to the Chateau for supporting us. Thank you for Debbie and Christian for being our partners. Enjoy.
I'm really happy to be back here in KL. It's a great pleasure. We come quite often together with my boss. We travel to many different countries in the whole world. I'm not covering only Asia. I'm the sales manager worldwide, so I travel a lot. But still, France, it's our main market. It's important to mention it. It's good to be good in your own market. It's a good start. But yeah, we are happy. And so my role is really to travel and to help the wine merchant to push and promote sales all around the planet. So yeah, all over Asia, US, we travel quite often to the US, Europe, France, any kind of events that we can organize to let people know that we produce great wines that can age for so many decades. So I meet a lot of sommeliers, big wine fairs, staff trainings, yeah, any kind of event that helps. So my name again is Sylvain. What I suggest today, we will travel together to Bordeaux, and more specifically, of course, in Saint Julien, on the left bank, what we call the Médoc. I have a video. It goes quite fast, but I won't pause, and we won't take the time to explain all the different things that we will see during the video. I know all of you want to experience and start drinking also, and we will start. After a few minutes, we will start with our white wine called the Vin de Lagrange. Maybe you know it. We also produce a white wine for a few years now, since '96, les Arômes de Lagrange. But I'm sure you will. It will be like a welcoming drink that we'll share together after a few minutes. So be patient. We'll soon start to have something and to experience something. So thank you again, and let's start the video. Don't hesitate. We can stop. You can ask any, and there are no stupid questions. No problem. I'm here for you. Let's go. In a galaxy far, far away, we will start and see where we are located in Bordeaux, in Saint Julien, the left bank. So we start in the galaxy far, far away. So I'm sure you know it. We are located in the southwest of France. You saw Paris. So here you see the Atlantic Ocean, the coast, southwest of France. And this is the estuary. We will go south through the Gironde estuary. And on the right bank, you will have, the right bank will be on your left, and the left bank on your right, because we are doing south. And the region where we will focus on, it's the left bank, called the Médoc. So basically, when you go down through this estuary, the Gironde estuary, it's quite wide. The two main regions that have been producing great wines in Bordeaux. On the right bank, so on the left on the screen, it's Saint-Émilion Pomerol. On the right, it's where you have the left bank, the Médoc. And the city center of Bordeaux will be here, near the Garonne River. Garonne there, and Dordogne that goes to Saint-Émilion. So two rivers, the estuary splits. And if you come in the Bordeaux city center, you have the beautiful Garonne. Left bank, so this is where you have four major, I call it the big four, major appellation that I'm sure you've heard about it. The closest to Bordeaux city center, here purple, it's Margaux, bigger than where we are, Saint Julien. Then 15 more kilometers, it's Saint Julien, where we will talk about it during the presentation, of course, where Lagrange is. Then Pauillac, you see, we are really neighbors. We touch each other together with Pauillac here. And then Saint-Estèphe up north, where you have Cos d'Estournel, Montrose in Saint-Estèphe. If you rent a car in Bordeaux city center and go to Saint-Estèphe, 1 hour, 20 minutes, so it's a long drive. The road is called D2, the Chateau Road, famous Chateau Road, and when you take this D2, it takes a long time, and you will pass through all the beautiful estates. But the first main appellation, bigger than Saint Julien, it's Margaux. 1,400 hectares for Margaux AOC appellation. Saint Julien, it's really the smallest, smaller than Pauillac, Saint-Estèphe, Margaux. 930 hectares where we are, Saint Julien. Pauillac, AOC, 1,200 hectares, 300 hectares, something like that. Bigger than us. Oh, what happened? So Saint Julien, really small. Only 17 chateaus are producing wine in Saint Julien. We are all neighbors. 11 classified groves in Saint Julien are from Saint Julien back in the 1855 classification. I'm sure you know about this classification, 5 levels. In Saint Julien, no first groves, no fifth groves, only second, third, and fourth groves. Chateau Lagrange is a third groves. So 19 chateaux, 11 of them were classified back in 1855, and those 11 classified groves, they represent around 85% of the vines planted in Saint Julien. So usually, when wine critics, journalists, buyers talk about Saint Julien, generally speaking, when they taste the wines from the barrels en primeur, usually it's a quite homogeneous appellation. We are all neighbors. The soils are quite similar. Of course, the style of the chateau are a bit different from one to the other, but basically it's quite homogeneous in quality. Small amount of chateaus, 11 classified groves. If you compare to Bordeaux, it's much bigger appellation, much more chateaus, 21 classified groves, more than 60 estate producing wines. So you have more differences in between the wines. It's kind of mathematics. So Saint Julien, quite small. Let's go. So now we will focus a bit more in Saint Julien. Famous chateaux that are overlooking the river, like Léoville-Las-Cazes, Léoville-Poix-Ferré, Barton, and you see the border north with Pauillac. Lagrange, here you see, it's a bit more inland, southwest of the appellation. All the vines are around the chateau. You will see two main slopes. And the size of the estate, we are quite big, never changed for more than, since the classification, more than 200, 300 years ago. So you will see the colors with all the vineyard from Chateau Lagrange. So southwest of Saint Julien AOC appellation, and this is Chateau Lagrange vineyard. Two wines, red, Saint Julien, Fief de Lagrange, second label since 83, and the classified growth, Chateau Lagrange, are grown here. 118 hectares of vineyard around the chateau. It's quite big. We produce a few bottles. The good thing of producing some bottles is that we can taste it together today. And if you are looking for it, you should find some Lagrange somewhere. So yeah, we didn't buy plots from the recent years. It's really the original size of the estate when it was classified back in 1855. So sometime when you visit some chateaux that were classified back in 1855, they have like the plot might look like a puzzle, you know. They have plots that are quite far away. Everything is around the chateau, quite practical all year long, and especially at harvest time to bring the grapes as quick as possible to the vat room and start vinification process. So basically, this is our plot map. Of course, we will talk about it from one vintage to the other. If you have to remind something about this masterclass, it's really the role of Cabernet Sauvignon in Lagrange wines. So highly planted, 67% of Cabernet Sauvignon, 28 Merlot, 5 Petit Verdot. Magic trio for Chateau Lagrange wines. And we will see that the share of Cabernet Sauvignon from the last around 10-15 years went up and up and up. It's the role of the share of Cabernet Sauvignon Lagrange wine is now up more than 80% in the final blend. Why? Global warming. That's as simple as it is. Cabernet Sauvignon is just fully ripe now in Bordeaux with the hot summer that we usually have. If you take Cabernet Sauvignon 25-30 years ago, it was not that easy to bring to maturity in Bordeaux. So now it's just, we are lucky enough to have a lot of Cabernet. I would say that on the short, middle term, I'm not sure I will be there in about 15-20 years to talk about it, but now that we have so much Cabernet, we are good on the middle term. I'm sure that the share will be getting higher and higher in Cabernet Sauvignon. So the highest share would be 86% in Lagrange wine, so it's quite high. But it's really, Cabernet Sauvignon, it's really the backbone and the signature of Lagrange wines. So we take really close attention on picking Cabernet Sauvignon when it's ripe, to go as further as possible in terms of maturity. And we will talk about the vinification tools that we have, many vats to be able to vinify plot by plot and intra-plot selection to go as far as possible in the ripening process of Cabernet and Merlot as well. So those are our plots. So the vines goes from the vineyard goes from 9 meters to 24 meters from the sea level. We have the highest point of the Saint Julien appellation, 24 meters from the sea level. it's not like Hermitage in the Rhone Valley, but it makes sense in terms of natural drainage, 24 meters. Just in front of the chateau, you see here a nice, very premium top Cabernet plot here in front of the lake. The chateau is here and you have the lake. Those are the types of soils that we have. So we did a big analysis of our soils a bit more than 10 years ago to better know each plot characteristics, a bit more clay, a bit more sand, a bit more gravels, and where we try to adapt the types of fruits and grape variety that we plant on those different plots by knowing more and more our terroir. So you see that from 9 meters here to 24 around here, natural efficient drainage. So all the technical installation around the chateau, bathroom, barrel cellar, everything. With this slide here, you could be the winemaker. Those are the plots that have been producing first label Chateau Lagrange for more than 20 years, and first wine, and the one that have been producing Fief for also more than a few decades. And we have also intermediate plots from 1 year to the other. The wines could go in either Lagrange or Fief. This is the type of decision that we take until the blending session happening in January after harvest last summer. So during the blending session, we decide the proportion, of course, of first label, second label, the blends, more than 100 samples tasted blind. So some neighbors, I didn't name it, you saw it on the map. We have Gruau-la-Rose, we have Tarbes, Bras-Vert-du-Cru. I've mentioned the Léoville that are more on the river. This is where we are. And we will de-zoom the two different places that you see here. It's where we have our white wine, Les Arômes de Lagrange, the white vines. Les Arômes, it's the name of a white flower, lilies, calla lilies, that we have around the lake. And so the name was given to the white wine. We've been producing the white wine since 1996. So it's maybe good timing to pour the white wine if it's, and we'll have it as a welcome drink if it's okay for you. We can pour the white. Let's go.
Sylvain, what grapes are in the white wine?
Good question. Sauvignon Blanc mostly, Sémillon and Grey Sauvignon. High percentage of Sauvignon Blanc, around a bit more than 70%.
And the last one was Grey?
Gris Sauvignon Gris, yeah, Grey Sauvignon Gris. Yeah. It's Bordeaux white, and we need highly skilled people to prune properly, and it's also very physical. So you have a lot of disease So some green work in June, so removing leaves for better sun exposure. It's always a question of balance. If it's too hot, maybe you need a few leaves. If it's you need also good aeration of the vine rows. We have some. Here's the swan. So we try to work as much as possible in harmony with the nature. So summer, so July, August, we have the maturation process. The berries will turn from green to red, black, and then September, so comes harvest. So now it's harvest time. You see all the vineyard workers, more than 200 people, 100% picked by hand. So basically at harvest time, Matthew, our GM, the cellar master, his assistant, they will go in the plots and in each plot and taste the berries, and they decide when to pick or not. I was explaining, they look at the weather forecast, they send some berries also to analysis to have the potential alcohol volumes, and they decide should we start picking or not. First day of harvest, and also plot by plot. It's very important. From one day to the other change on deciding when to start harvesting or not. You could do a regular vintage to something outstanding. So harvest day, it's a very key criteria to succeed on the vintage. So at harvest time, we are all looking at each other. Did they started? But yeah, it's very, very important. So the GM is spending like 2 hours every morning in the plots tasting the berries. So of course we start with Merlot and then we finish with Cabernet. So we harvest time by hand. We cut the 4 clusters. We put them in small crates, small basket, around 10 kilos of berries, of cluster bunches. The crates will be loaded on a truck, and the truck will go to the vat room, to the sorting lines to start the sorting process, and then vinification. So harvest time would be from early October, if it's early harvest, up to October the 10th, October 5th. It really depends on the vintage. A short harvest time it could be done in 2 weeks, very intense. A long harvest time would be on 1 month almost. Maybe not picking every day, but yeah. I remember 19 was 1 month of harvest with a break in between Merlot and Cabernet. So let's talk about the sorting process. So we empty the crates on the sorting lines. We can have 2 sorting lines working in parallel. Sorting, it's key criteria as well, just to keep the best berries. So first sorting is done on vibrating tables, you see here, by hand. So we remove if we have some damaged berries, burned by the sun, if we have rot, if we have some leaves remaining, we put them aside. The vibration, all the bugs will fall apart. And then all the berries will go through a de-steamer to separate the stem from the berries. And then the berries will go through the optical sorting machine. It's like a big scanner. You calibrate berry size, shape, color that correspond to the degree of maturity that we want to keep. And then what doesn't correspond, it's rejected with compressed air. And then what's remaining, it looks like caviar. And up it goes in vats. And then we start the vinification process, alcoholic fermentation in vats. We do also the malolactics in vats. So only stainless steel, you were asking about it. Easy to clean, easy to adjust the temperatures, easy to control. Much easier to adjust temperatures on a stainless steel than wooden tank or concrete. Less risk of bacteria to develop. So yeah, less water consumption. Imagine the difference with cleaning a wooden tank compared to stainless steel. So we have a vat room that is a tool that is really easy to work with strong control and a lot of flexibility. Yeah. And when vinification and alcoholic and malolactic are finished, the wines will go and start their aging process in barrels. So all French oak, of course, we work with 6 different coopers. The wines are put in barrels per lot, per grape variety, per plot, until early in January. This is the images of the blending session. This is our GM on the left. This is our cellar master. And basically they taste more than 100 samples blind, and they have to create the Fief de Lagrange blend and the Lagrange blend and the proportion of first and second label. There's also a consultant coming for those sessions, Eric Boisneau, to have like another point of view, a neutral point of view from outside of the estate. He's an enologist, our GM is an enologist as well. So our team is quite highly technical skills. Aging then, once they decide the blends, the proportion Cabernet, Merlot, Petit Verdot, we make the wines are back in vats to make the blend, the mix, and back in barrels with the final blend to continue their aging. So yeah, all French. We have our own bottling plant also. So basically, the wines are for Lagrange are aged about 20 months of barrel aging and around 13 months for Fiat de Lagrange, the second wine. We are quite open to tourism as well. We receive many visitors, different types of visits. You can taste a few, 3, 4, 5 vintages. You could taste from the barrels. You can do your own blend. We have a chef also. We receive a lot of sommeliers. So a lot of lunch for me and dinners. Not easy. So that's the estate. That's Chateau Lagrange. Voilà, voilà.
How was the harvest for 2020?
It was a challenging year. Yeah, small yields. Sorting process was key also. It was not the hottest and the driest vintage ever. Not really, to tell the truth. So yeah, like getting the perfect ripeness was quite a challenge. We had to wait. So yeah, it was a challenging vintage. Small volumes. Yeah. What we kept with all the sorting process that we have, we are lucky. We kept berries that were good, so we will succeed in producing a nice vintage. But again, won't be the vintage of the century for sure. But still, with all the techniques that we had, maybe if we had this type of vintage 15, 20 years ago. And then
2014? What are you
the
talking
14,
about?
yeah.
Okay.
Spring season was okay. Then summer was good, and in August, unfortunately, we had some rainfall. And hopefully, what saved the vintage and made the vintage, it's a beautiful back season Indian summer. So late harvest, the very nice and dry weather came back. End of September, mid-September, end of September. So we only started picking early October. We took time to let the Cabernet ripen. So it was not easy. It was a vintage that was not really easy to drink young. I remember we used to call it a bit like austere. But now that the wines are 10 years old, I think for the last 2-3 years we've been popping the corks of 14 and the Chateau. And I really enjoy the vintage. In Bordeaux we call it a very classic vintage. It doesn't have, also we will see, the structure of 16, but everything is well balanced. Like also 12, if I had to name those kind of vintages, like 11, 12, 14, different characteristics, but the wines that they were not, of course, known as exceptional vintages, but when you do things right, you wait for the grapes to ripen and pick it right at the right time, you can succeed on the vintage. And that's the challenge, producing great wines on challenging year. If we talk about 16, it's a rocking chair vintage. It was so easy to succeed with 16 because the vintage conditions were so good. As simple as it is to produce a great wine, but 14 was quite a challenge, and I like it now to revisit. Now that it's 10 years old. It's in terms of vintage condition. The 2012 was a bit up and down. So we had some rainfall period and then some dry periods. So it was a bit up and down. And at the end, it was a really nice vintage to be very well balanced and to also drink the window of drinking. I think it's really good now, and it has been quite easy to drink. Quite easy to read, and even young, and I think it will last for a few years more for sure. I really like 12. The wines were quite expressive, well balanced, some freshness as well. You have 67% Cabernet Sauvignon here, 30 Merlot, and 3 Petit Verdot. A very good vintage was a vintage with very warm weather, but actually 2005 was very dry. Bordeaux, it's quite a rainy region, especially spring season. But in 2005, it only rained 400 millimeters of rain. So it's very limited rain. And it's a kind of wine that is the blend for us here. It's quite unusual. So I was explaining the role of high percentage of Cabernet Sauvignon in Lagrange wines, 70–80%. This is a bit an exception to the rule at Lagrange. 46% Cab, 45 Cabernet Sauvignon, and 9 Petit Verdot. You know, there are no rules.
The highest Merlot among for the night?
Yes, you're right.
46% Merlot.
45 Merlot, 46 Cabernet, 9% Petit Verdot.
The 12 track was 67, 45.
46 Cabernet Sauvignon, 45 Merlot, 9 Petit Verdot. It's a
9% Cabernet.
9% Petit Verdot.
Petit Verdot.
67.
Yeah.
It's
It's
5 Usually you need 5% for Petit Verdot.
between 3 to 10.
9%. And then you don't put any Cabernet from.
But the old wine
No
also,
Cabernet Franc planted.
it's not really very sure.
2016?
No.
What was the mix like?
2016,
Right.
70 Cabernet Sauvignon, 24 Merlot, and 6 Petit Verdot.
So after 2005, you went more caps off?
When Matthew joined today's GM, he arrived just when the blend were decided on 405, and he's a big Cabernet fan, and when he saw that, he was kind of surprised, and since then, also because of the global warming, we went from 05, it's a kind of an exception, half-half, 50-50 Cab and Merlot. It used to be 20 years ago 60-something%, then went 70, and recently I told you more than 80% Cabernet Sauvignon. Yeah.
I'm surprised, very high Petit Verdot. 9%.
Yeah. Petit Verdot, it's a great variety. It's a kind of booster, you know. It has to be ripe, otherwise you don't want it in the blend. It has nothing special. It's a booster. It's like a bit seasoning. It's the final touch. They call it wine doctor. So sometimes, usually it's in both blends, Fief and Lagrange, and sometimes it's only in Fief. It happens. Recently, we had no Petit Verdot in the final blend of Lagrange. All the Petit Verdot went in Fief with this role of boosting the blend.
Really? Yeah. Beautiful.
For later, this one.
And this one.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Wine Archive. Today we're back at Chateau Lagrange. Next to me is Mathieu Borde, General Manager and Winemaker at Lagrange. As you can see, we're in the vineyard, and that's for a reason. We are going to learn a little bit more about the terroir, what it means and what it takes to produce quality wines. Mathieu, can you explain a little bit more about the process and what terroir, what it is?
So the terroir, the first meaning of terroir is basically the soil and the subsoil. But we are located in Saint Julien, and the terroir, when we signify the terroir with the big T, it's included much more things than only the soil and subsoil. It included also the climate, the weather conditions, the microclimate, if you are at the top of the hill, at the bottom of the slopes. It included also people who are working in the vineyard. We have the knowledge about the plots, the knowledge about the way we work at Lagrange, and also the different grape variety you have, the grape variety, but also the rootstock. And this combination of both on a soil with a microclimate, we usually define the terroir with the big T like that.
Interesting. So now that we know what terroir means, what is so special or unique about Lagrange terroir?
The unicity of the Lagrange terroir, the first key point is we have 103 plots in one block, in one single block around the chateau, from 5 meters above the sea level unto 24 meters above the sea level. 24 meters is the highest point of the appellation at Saint Julien. Basically, we have much more gravelly soil on the estate. It's Gunsian gravel, which are more than 1.5 million years old. And it represents 80% of the soil. And 15 years ago, I did 200 holes in the vineyard to define the different soil we have. We found 17 different soil and type of soil that we can regroup in 5 main: gravelly soil, gravelly and sand, sand and gravel, and clay and limestone soil.
And how does the picking date have impact on the wine?
After the knowledge about this intra-plot selection, it's easy for us. We taste day by day, 3 hours a day with my assistant manager, to find the right time, the best time to taste and to pick. And in the end, the date of picking, the impact of the date of picking is so high. If you don't understand that, you are not able to produce a great wine. You can produce wine, but not a great wine. Because 2 days in advance or 2 days later, you change totally the style of the grapes and in the end, the quality of your wines.
Okay. That brings me to the next question. Do you adapt the vinification of the wine depending on the plot selection or of picking dates?
Of course, Yannick, of course. As I told you, we decided to pick 2 days later, 2 days in advance, because we try to reach the good ripeness of the seeds, of the skins. And now, after that, in the vat room that you will see, we can adapt totally the way we want to extract the color, to extract the flavors, depending on what we have tasted in the vineyard.
Let's go.
So Yannick, we are now in the vat room, and as you know, we have 103 plots and 102 vats, stainless steel vats. It's very helpful for us to select plot and intra-plot selection, of course, as you can imagine. And what we have, depending on what we have tasted in the vineyard, we can adapt with my team what kind of process to extract color, tannins, flavors we can do. Some délestage, some pumping over, some punching down, all the facilities you can have to take the best of the grapes.
So for all the barrels here, what is the aging of the wines? Is it from year to year, from vintage to vintage, or is it some kind of recipe that you follow every year?
So it depends on the chateau, but at Lagrange we use in a very traditional way, and I don't change so much things because it works very well. So we age our wine almost, for Chateau Lagrange, 21 months in oak. But it's not a recipe. It changes every year. It means that it would be, as the vintage 2013, which is a little bit lighter, we decided to reduce to 17 months. If the wine is more concentrated, more powerful, as the 2020, 2019 or 2016 as example, we can age until 21 months with 50, sometimes 60% new oak.
Okay, so you have new oak. And that's only for the Grand Vin, or is it also for Les Fiefs? Or what happens with Les Fiefs?
We age Les Fiefs in exactly the same way, but 2 things change on Les Fiefs. First, we decided to usually reduce the quantity of new oak because the wine is more delicate, is less powerful than the Grand Vin, so it can't bear so much new oak. So only 20% of new oak on Les Fiefs de Lagrange, and the aging time is also reduced. Usually it's between 12 and 14 months compared to 21 months for the Grand Vin. We blend after the vinification process, generally 3 months later in January. Then our wines age blend. It's very important because we believe that the connection with the press wine and all the different plots, it's better to blend them in their youth. And at the end of the aging process, we reblend because, as you know, we use different cooperage, and to be sure, each bottle are exactly the same. So Yannick, you know that Lagrange is producing very famous red wines, but we have also a wine, iconic white wine, Les Aromes de Lagrange, that you know very well. This wine has been produced at Lagrange since 1996. It's a beautiful white, dry white, with the name Les Aromes, the Calla Lily of Lagrange, the flowers which are located around the lake.
So for Les Aromes, what is the percentage of grapes, or what grape do you use, and how long do they age on the barrel?
We use specifically the Bordeaux white grapes, mainly Sauvignon white, Sauvignon blanc, 60%, 20% Sauvignon gris, and 20% Semillon. And the blend of these 3 grape varieties is very nice You have a lot of freshness, a lot of lively acidity, grapefruit, citrus on the nose. And with the Semillon, the mid palate is always very fleshy. It's a very elegant wine. It's aged for 6 months. We're stirring the lees, fermenting oak. It's totally different process from the red, a wine very enjoyable in its youth.
and